spins in midair, finds Jared Dudley. 3 for 3, absolutely, off a gorgeous assist from Vince Carter.
This was spectacular. Dudley went behind his back, but it put it right where JD needs the basketball to be able to fire it up.
Steve Nash, looking feet inside. Vince Carter converts.
Oh, Vince Carter hangs it, hits. Spectacular move from Vince. Ooh, I love the super slow-mo.
That's hang time.
Vince Carter to the 10th floor from Aaron Brooks.
Rev it up, Vince.
Wow. Holy cow, that was something to see.
Wow. Man, Vince Carter, there's a little circus act going on there. Circus Soleil.
Andres Nocioni. Vince Carter takes it to the rack. High and hard. And Vince can still hang and fly in the air.
That was insane what he just did there.
Hey guys, welcome back. We've got some good news. Let's look at it. Just to keep my guys a wreck, does keep showing you that they are boxed in a corner and cannot progress any farther forward now until they have to open up a passageway for money. They've got to open up money, whether it's through borrowed money or a budget, guys. That's why they just keep giving you all this just wonderful conversation about reforms, but they can't do a damn thing with it. Okay? Reforms are frozen and are completely at a standstill until that rate changes and they open up a money path to fund those reforms. They've even talked about the reforms being funded from within the budget, so they've told you that. So we're in a great position. Again, we're moving week to week on this to see what transpires. All right, first news article. A director in the central bank sets his forecast for the dollar exchange rate within days and reveals a forthcoming measure. The general director of the central bank in Basra Governorate, Qasim Rahib, suggested that the exchange rate would continue to decline in the coming days. Said in a press statement that the statements made by some members of parliament and other parties that there is an intention to raise the exchange rate of the dollar in the coming days create a crisis through the increase in demand for the dollar, which led to an increase in its exchange rate for high numbers. Guys, as you see, it's not worth reading this whole article, guys. This article is pure BS because remember the official document I showed you from the CBI, they said they have no intentions of devaluing the Iraq dinar. If they raise based on what this article is telling you, if they raise the value of the US dollar, they're actually devaluing the Iraq dinar. They have to devalue the Iraq dinar to increase the dollar. Okay, this is just a roundabout way of telling you that. So this article is just complete and pure BS because, like the CBI told you on Sunday, they have no intentions of devaluing it. Okay, let's move on to the next article. Let's see what we have here. All right, unprecedented contraction and high unemployment. The IMF calls on countries in the region to accelerate reform and diversify the economy. International Monetary Fund has urged the countries of the Middle East and North Africa to speed up reforms and diversify the economy at a time when energy-rich regions faces unprecedented challenges due to the emerging coronavirus and the decline in oil prices. And on its latest update to its regional economic forecast this month, the IMF said that the region's GDP will shrink by 5% this year compared to when previous forecasts in July of 5.7% contraction. Despite the slight improvement, the region, which includes all Arab countries and Iran, will suffer from its worst economic performance, surpassing the record contraction of 4.7% in 1978 when it was witnessing major turmoil. We should view that what is happening today as a call to action and also as an opportunity to stimulate economic transformation and create more opportunities, especially for youth. He added in an interview with video, we expect growth and unemployment to be affected this year, and this crisis in general could lead to a 5% decrease in growth and a similar increase in the unemployment rate. In recent years, the region has witnessed a series of conflicts and in a number of its countries, including Syria, Yemen, Iraq, Libya, which destroyed their economies and increased their poverty rates on a large scale. These conflicts have caused a high rate of unemployment, which currently stands at 26.6% among young people, according to the World Bank data. A double blow since last March. Countries in the region, many of which depend on oil revenues, has resorted to closures, curfews to prevent the spread of the coronavirus, which led to disruption of local economies. Announcement. The IMF says the average oil price will be $41.69 a barrel in 2020 and $46.70 in 21, far from the 57 to 64 average it was in 2019. In light of the double whammy, the corona outbreak and the decline in oil prices, the growth of oil exporting countries in the Middle East and North Africa is expected to contract by 6.6%, and the economies of crude importers are expected, Azora returned to say, we are at a pivotal moment where there are hopes that the vaccine can speed up the economic recovery, but there are also challenges with the risk of a second wave of the virus. Lebanon reforming the subsidy system. Lebanon is the most affected country in the region. It faces worst economic crisis since the Civil War, causing the local currency to decline against the dollar, doubling the poverty rate, more than half of the population, and mass exodus. According to the IMF, the economy of this country is contracted by 25%, as we're returned again, warning that Lebanon needs a comprehensive reform program to address the deep-rooted issues. Of course, this requires the next government to accelerate the pace of reforms, which must be comprehensive and widely supported in order to get Lebanon's economy out of the crisis. Anyway, guys, you are getting the point. This is a really long article, so we don't need to learn about the economic troubles within every country of the region. So let's move on to the next article here. So the governor of the central bank is discussing with German banks investment and work in Iraqi banks. So as you guys see, these are international agreements, just like they did when they were here on August 20th. Remember, Iraq got off the naughty list for the U.S., for Europe, and from the UN. They got off all three naughty lists. Okay, so now you see they're just doing in Europe the same thing that they did within the U.S. They're just putting together these international agreements, guys. And Iraq does have to have their currency internationally recognized for these agreements to be executed. Okay? So this article basically, governor of the central bank discussed on Tuesday with a group of large German banks investment opportunities and work with Iraqi banks. The central bank said in a statement, people received a copy of it, that today the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq held a series of meetings with the large German banks, and the meetings discussed investment opportunities and work with Iraqi banks, which met a high response from German banks as they confirmed their desire to complete the talks in Baghdad soon. The statement indicated the governor, accompanied by Minister of Finance Alawi, chairman of the National Investment Commission, participated in the meetings held with the German Ministry of Development and Economy and the Ministry of Finance as part of the current visit to Germany, where ways to strengthen economic relations between the municipality and its future prospects were discussed. Okay, Iraq focuses on France, Germany, in relations with Europe, Iraqi FM. Kurdistan region, Iraq prioritizes France and Germany over other European countries when building relations with other states, Iraq's Foreign Minister Fahd Hussein told Ruda on Tuesday. Since Mustafa Kadhimi took office as Prime Minister, this government's policy has been focusing on a number of countries, regional and others, as essential ones, while keeping others as a secondary importance in Europe with the focus of France and Germany, said Hussein, who is accompanying Kadhimi on his tour to Europe. He elaborated that the reason behind choosing the two countries as their focus is their international importance in terms of the economy, diplomacy, and military. Therefore, The Prime Minister wanted to set off his Europe tour with France and Germany. We will later go to the UK. A senior Iraqi delegation led by Kadhimi began a European tour on Sunday, meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron and Prime Minister Jean Castex at the Élysée Palace in Paris. He arrived in Germany late Monday and met with German Chancellor Angela Merkel on Tuesday. During a joint press conference with Merkel in Berlin, and Kadhimi said his government seeks German support in boosting democracy in his country. We are looking forward to benefiting from Germany in order to consolidate democratic institutions and hold free and fair elections, he said, adding that they will make sure the election will be transparent. He also said that both countries have many commercial and economic partnerships. We are close to announcing the start of the second phase of the roadmap implemented by the German company Siemens in the field of rehabilitating the electricity sector in Iraq, Kadhimi told Porter. So as they just told you right there, they basically, guys, Siemens does high voltage. They have a division that does high voltage electricity. So they've basically signed a contractual agreement with both GE and Siemens. Remember, the GE was 1.2 billion, but there's also Siemens right there. So boom, there's just more confirmation of an international agreement. But again, that requires the currency to be internationally recognized before it can be the contract can be executed. Okay. Kadhimi's visit to Europe comes as Iraq is gripped by economic crisis, exacerbated by a drop in oil prices, and global coronavirus pandemic and attacks on diplomatic missions by Iran-backed militia groups that have been met with international condemnation. The Iraqi PM later met with Germany's businessmen, telling them that Iraq has great confidence in the work of German companies. White paper. When the economy suffers from major imbalances in its structure, the need for reform is extremely necessary, and if the reform initiative comes late, it is better than not to come or find it present too late, Hussein. The white paper came at a time of the intensification of the financial crisis when the country faced the corona pandemic, previously approved incorrect economic policies which did not take into account such conditions as the country is going through today. This paper, with its plans to save the country, needs to be applied on the ground. And what are implementation mechanisms that work to change the shape of the national economy and move it from one state to another more mature? For the first time in the country, we find a real direction of reform based on plans drawn for the future of the next phase, which take upon themselves to formulate a new policy. Guys, remember that phrase, next phase, means after the rate change, which take upon themselves to formulate a new policy that advances Iraq's disrupted capabilities that can achieve benefits faster than everyone imagines when the real environment is provided to support development efforts while keeping stalled contracts away from leading the march of sustainable development train, whose fuel will be the white paper with its developmental content approved by the official authorities in the country. The loss of time is not in the interest of the country. Well, it's very funny they say that. They say the loss of time is not in the interest of the country. And, okay, if the loss of time is not in their interest, tell me when the last time they actually got something done or completed something was. You see that, guys, right there? They're telling you with that statement, they say the loss of time is not in the interest of the country, but yet they haven't done a damn thing for at least pretty much since August 20th. They've done absolutely nothing since August 20th, since they were here in Washington. You know what they're telling you guys right there? They are literally waiting on a calendar date for the rate change. That's why they're getting nothing done, because they're telling you that a loss of time is not in their interest, but yet they haven't done a damn thing for the past 2 months. That's because, again, everything at this point economically is waiting on the rate change. And the concerted efforts of everyone are required to move the country to more attractive stage. Yeah, the more attractive stage is called the period after the rate change. For local immigrant and international investments, which don't come until the rate changes, to start actual activity in any of the economic sectors and leave positive imprint that serves the country. I had a meeting with an Arab economist, and he talked about the Arab economies and the nature of investment, and I stood with him at an important sentence, and then he mentioned the text. The economies of the good region are gradually rising, while Iraq can achieve advancement at a remarkable speed that differs from all countries due to its natural and human resources. This talk means that victory over the economic crisis is possible whenever the national will is available to achieve this, especially that Iraq has a young society that is able to work and master advanced technology after it came at the top of the pyramid to the smartest Arab peoples. We hope that the white paper will have positive, rapid impact. Rapid impact, yeah. The only way you're going to have rapid impact is to hurry up and change the rate, because right now you guys are just, burning the midnight oil, getting nothing accomplished or done because you're waiting on a calendar date. On the national economy and real diversification of revenues. The zeros have nothing to do with the value of currency, and one of these solutions to overcome the financial crisis is to reduce the price of the dinar against the dollar to obtain a larger amount of cash. So as you guys see, this article's BS. Again, we're not going to read this, guys. It's kind of lengthy. But right here, they're telling you that one of the solutions is to reduce the price of the dinar against the dollar. That's like the very first article we saw, which it's all BS, guys, because, again, the official article from the central bank on Sunday clearly stated they have no intentions of devaluing the currency, okay, period. They said that was all speculative rumors, okay, which is exactly what this is. So there you guys go. That's it. As you see, remember I kind of told you over the weekend, I said there would not be a lot of credible news coming out. They're still pumping a lot of BS. So there you guys go, guys. God bless. On to the next video, guys. Have a great night.